Good afternoon. My name is Mario Flores, and the title of my presentation is called The Enemy Called Average. And I use a scripture from 2 Timothy 1:7 where it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline." And the reason why I entitled my presentation The Enemy Called Average is because I am not average, and I don't want the world to be average. I believe God has all called us to be beyond average and better than average. And one of the things that keeps us from staying average is fear. And this is why I looked up the meaning of fear. And what is the meaning of fear? It's false emotion appearing real. False emotion appearing real. So it's pretty much anything that is bringing false emotions to you that is keeping you paralyzed from being above average. And a lot of us, for myself, as I was taking this class, I was looking at myself as like, I'm very average when it comes to school because I'm afraid of certain areas in my life that I need to improve. And as we go on to the next slide, these are areas that I found myself needing self-discipline. Mastering my time management, mastering study habits, and mastering test-taking skills. These are three places where I needed help in because I felt like I was average and I was too afraid to become someone I know I could be, but something was holding me back. And I didn't know what. Keys to academic success are step 1, mastering time management. Creating a schedule for my week and making deadlines for myself. Building healthy community. Creating a schedule for myself. Keeping Monday through Saturday scheduled for work, school, or even studying. It's very important to know what to expect the next day, what to do. I know things happen and things, just jump in your schedule, but it's good to have a week by week schedule for yourself, because then you know that you have deadlines. As it says, the next number of my academic success is meeting deadlines. Making deadlines for yourself is just making yourself more disciplined when it comes to doing work, schoolwork, or work for work, or even spending time with family. Knowing what is going to happen throughout the week, you know that you need to be somewhere at a certain time. And building healthy community. I think that's very important, to have healthy community around yourself, because then you know that if you leave a place, no one's going to get hurt or offended because you have to go do work. And if you have people around you that support you, they know that you're on a mission and you're wanting to do something above average. Pause it. Keys to academic success is step 2 is mastering my study habits. Creating a quiet place for myself, spending time at the local library, asking for help from a tutor. These are all things that were not normal for me. After taking this class, University Success, I understood that these things were so key for my success. I was never one to create a quiet place. I would go to Starbucks or anywhere else that had a lot of people, and I would try to study, and it never really worked. And spending time at the local library. When you're around people that are studying or books, you're easily able to go to a book and ask for help, or even asking for a tutor at the school or the library. It's very important. I was never one to ask for help. I was too prideful to just ask for help because I thought if I can do it on my own, then I'll be successful. But the reality is, you need people around you that know more to become better. And that's part of not being average, being able to ask for help. Keys to academic success, step 3, mastering test skills. Test skills are something that I have never really learned. And taking this class, I really realized that I lacked on learning how to take tests, because I would literally study for hours, or sometimes not even hours, just the day before. And I would expect myself to do great in exams, and I would get nervous the day before and during the test, and I would get anxiety, and I didn't know what it was. And there was this fear that always would build inside of me that caused me not to perform better than I could have. And these steps is, the first step is using different study sources. The internet, textbooks, reading, class notes, previous tests, and related resource materials. Using more than just my textbook, but using the internet, using things that are just not common, like things that I find interesting that will help me just have more knowledge of the subject I'm studying. And studying enough and not the day before is something that I really need to know and learn more about, is not to stress and study the night before, but to really focus on my schedule throughout the week and apply an hour or two throughout my day to study for exam that is maybe 4 or 5 days before. Learning how to time management that's where time management comes into play. And organizing a study group. Again, asking for help. I would go to class many times before and not ask for help. I never got to meet people in my class. I never built relationships. I would go to class and I would leave. And I feel like through taking this class, I realized that that's the very key that I need, is to build community that are on the same page as I am and trying to be successful in business for myself. To build community so I can partner with someone to be effective in the community or wherever I go to work. In conclusion, the keys to everything is asking God for true discipline in every area in our lives. University success is more than just preparing you for school. I believe it's preparing you for life. And it's teaching you tools how to be a disciplined student, but also disciplined human being when it comes to being responsible and being a godly person. And who better to ask for discipline than God himself? I believe we have to ask God for discipline, and true discipline, meaning day to day, and not just with schooling, but with our families, with the coworkers, and overall becomes a successful person. We are David, and fear is our Goliath. And as I was working on this project, I realized that fear had a strong hold on me, and I felt like fear was being broken off of me as I was taking this class, because this is my first class in a couple of years, and I felt like God was just tearing things off me and showing me that I can do this. And he called me David, and fear is Goliath, and I have to overcome. And we are not average, but we have power, love, and self-discipline. We are not average, and something we learned, we read a story in this class about being average, and it really spoke to me, and I titled my PowerPoint presentation Above Average, because we're not average, and I believe God has called us to be excellent in everything we do, and this class is catapulting us into a position where anywhere we go, if it's the school of education or school of business, we're going to be successful regardless of what we do, because God is with us, and we are not average.